Hello everyone. All right, let's just go ahead and get this started. To begin, I mean, you can see that I already have a building in here. I already have this building laid out, which has, give you a general rundown of the building. It's precast concrete walls, vertical walls that have corbels on them, and the interior you have concrete beams that the hollowcore slabs are going to bear on. So the slabs are going to bear on the concrete beams in the center and the corbels on the precast walls on the outside. So I already have it drawn in on a different Allplan file in our building structure. So that way I have it on reference only mode, so it's in the background and I can't modify it or change it at all. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start laying in some slabs. And to do that, we're going to go up to our slab tool, and here you have a couple different options you can choose from. Allplan gives you different options to choose from, just your hollowcore or your prestressed hollowcore, and that's the one we're going to do. Also just a regular concrete slab or a double T or a bubble deck, and other options as well. We'll go ahead and stick with the prestressed hollowcore for the moment and turn our area detection on. Now this is cool. You can, gives you multiple options as well. You can have the area detection where you just click the point and it reads the outer limits of the area that you choose, and it makes those the bearing points. And then when you go into the options here and the design, you can go to the supports and you can determine how much bearing you actually have. So at the ends I have here my bearing length, and then on my sides I have the bearing length as well, and I have it as a negative number, meaning I don't want it to go into the walls, so I want to have that joint in between. So we'll keep that on, and here the lengths tab, you can specify your joint in here, but this is originally put into the catalog, and I'll get into the catalog in a little while. But again, so this suggestion here is coming from that catalog. So you can change it now, but it comes in automatically as you set in the catalog. And your widths, these are grayed out because that is also set into the catalog as well. Right now I have a roughly 4 foot wide plank, a little bit less, but that's for the joints and such. That's all specified in the catalog. And you can have your fitted panel alternative. You can have the one on the outer, or you can have the fitted panel on both outer panels, both outer sides of the slab span, or you can have it centered in that. But I'm going to choose one on the outer, but not more than 2 fitted, because if your minimum width for the plank isn't accounted for, then it's going to have to put 2 in there as well. All right. And recesses, it gives you a couple options for openings. So for small openings, I'm saying that PLANBAR is allowed to move them a little bit. For medium-sized openings, I don't want them to move. And for large openings, I want the hollowcore slab to be spread over 2 panels at the edge. You can also have an option to add the steel header, which you're going to have to create the steel header as a fixture, and then you decide which steel header, and it'll place it in automatically for you. So we'll go ahead and split it at the 2 joints. We'll go ahead and click this area for the area detection. And as you can see, it didn't split it right now because I guess it wasn't big enough in that area to make it split. So what we can do here, since we know that we don't like that, those legs are too small, so we're going to go ahead and set a fixed point for a joint, and we're going to put that right in the middle of that. So now it's split right in the middle of that slab, and that looks pretty good. You can see this, it's recognizing the beam edge, which is right here, as that bearing point, so it's giving me the bearing that I specified in the dialog box before. And here in this dialog box, again, you can choose to put the mandatory joints in or take them out, or specify your joint size again. And here you specify the reinforcement type. The reinforcement type, I'm going to go with a 7-strand. You also have different types that you specify in the catalog. Again, we'll go over that in a little bit. We're just going to choose the 1207. The 12 just stands for the thickness, the 12-inch, and 7-strand. That's just my labeling for it. You can label it anything that you want. That's just the numbering that it's going to start at. We're going to do 1. And here, this gives you the option, it automatically reads the shortest span. So it automatically spanned the way that I want it to. But just to show you that it can go the other way, and then it's going to give you this warning that the maximum panel length has been exceeded. And you set that in the catalog. And it's nice that it lets you know that, because hey, it's not going to work. And obviously, you wouldn't want to do that anyways. So let's put it back. All right, so now we're going to hit OK. So now we have our slabs in here. And I have mine set up so where the labels, you have identical mark numbers. You can either have it go all the way through, 1 through 100 for each panel, well, more than 100, any number you want. It can be ascending, or you can have it identical as well. So this way, I start at 1 and have 2s, all these are identical. And once it gets to a panel that changes, it's 3, 4, and then back to 2s and 5, okay? It labels them automatically. It gives the width and the length of it, the weight, and the strand series. And that's all customizable. You can add more if you want, or you can take some of that out if you don't need it on your plan view. I like to have it there. Okay. So now we have that part in. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of core fill around this opening. That way we don't get any cracks or anything in the plank, in the slab. And to do that, go to change hollow blocks, concrete strips. Go to concrete and solid fill, yes. Okay, entire length that we specify, okay. And now it's just giving you the option to draw in where you want that solid section, okay? So we're gonna start out, we want it to be -6 inches away from the corner, and we want it 12 inches above. So we're gonna start there, and we're gonna end up 6 inches there and 12 inches below the opening. Oops, all right, -12 inches. There we go. All right. So now it's going to recognize that that part is all solid filled cores. And as you can see, it took out for the opening as well. And I'll show you in a little while when we create our element plan that that all comes in as well. And it labels it, dimensions it, and everything. All right. So now we're going to imagine that we have extra weight on this slab, point load. Okay, maybe it's like machinery or something, but we're going to have the dimensions of that point load, and we're going to place that in there in this drawing to show you that if you do have an extra point load and you know what strand series that's going to have to be because of that loading, you can just enter in a definition range. So that definition range, we're going to say, I don't know those dimensions, we're just going to randomly place one here. We're going to say that that's the definition range. We have a point load that's a weird diagonal shape, diamond shape like that. And you can add attributes to it. You can specify, what it is, the loads and whatnot. You can specify all attributes to that, anything that you want. You can put the loads in right here. And then you go to the reinforcement and you can tell it which reinforcement type it needs to be. So instead of the 1207, that the strand series that I have, it's going to have to be a 12. It's going to need to be 12 strands in this, and you can see that it automatically updated where that graphical representation of the load is. And as I'm doing that, I can go in here and I can modify it after the fact as well. Okay, you see this is 1207, this is 1212. We'll go ahead and stretch this load over to that hollow core section, and it updated the strand series. And you can see all of these turn to a new mark number as well. And now all these are the same, so they're mark number 6. The strand series changed automatically, and the mark number as well. Let's change this here. Let's just zoom in a little bit, and you can see my hollow core blocks, the actual cores. This shape right here, I actually defined this shape myself. This is a shape that I created. So I'll show you a couple options in the catalog. Sorry. I'll show you a couple options in the catalog. It gives you multiple choices. It gives you standard shapes, and then you can create your own custom one, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And again, this joint section is the same as well. So let's go ahead. I'll open up the catalog here. Go to our general slab, and you can see the joint section. So you can see I have my hollow core 12-inch section right here. So I'm using this typical section, and I give the dimensions over here. It gives you the X dimensions and the Y dimensions, and you can specify it in any shape that you want. So it gives you a couple different ones to choose from where you can do that, or you can create a complete custom one by entering in the X dimensions and the Y dimensions. And you can do the same thing for the hollow cores as well. In PLANBAR, they're called hollow blocks. I call them cores. But you can see my hollow core 12-inch. I created this core myself. It's more of a teardrop from the cores that I'm used to. But it also gives you a bunch of different options for standards as well that you can change the size to. It gives you a regular circle, which you can change the radius. You know, just a bunch of different shapes that you can customize as well. But again, the custom one you can create on your own, any shape, literally any shape that you would like to create, you can. No, please don't save those changes. And then once you have those set up, you go into your panel type and specify your hollow core 12. It's a 12-inch, and you right here you create all the thickness, the maximum widths and the lengths for the thickness, and you can specify what you want to do at openings. And then here you can have, this specifies the distance between the cores in your slab, your hollow core slab, and a bunch of different options. Your mounting hooks, if you have, what I'm used to, we just use slings underneath the slab, and we just sling it, set it in place. But if you use embeds or lifting bolts inside the slab, you can place them in automatically, and it places it in, per weight. You can specify these types of fixtures, these types of lifting bolts for this amount of weight. And if it's over that amount of weight, you can put this type of lifting bolt in. It's really neat. It's a fast, simple way of doing it. Automatic as well. And if you have a way of bonding the end faces and the side and the longitudinals, you can go ahead and enter that in here too. So say you'll have a fixture which is an embed in the slab. You can go ahead and you can specify which embed you want and which cores you want as well. You can do it in all the cores in each block, or you can specify which ones you want it to. And here I have it in 2 and 5. So that specific embed will come in cores 2 and cores 5. And you can specify the offset of it as well. And the longitudinal sides, same thing. You can do a parameter or a fixture. Fixture, you select the fixture, or the parameters. You can choose, you know, a bunch of different options and where it belongs as well. Okay. The general rundown. And the reinforcement type, that's essentially the same thing. You just create your different strand series. Here you specify the spacing between the strand that you can enter into each of these slabs. So now I'm going to go ahead and enter in an opening. Actually, look, you can see this column here. It didn't cut out for that for some reason, so it can just come around after the fact if you would like, and we can enter in an opening. Now I know that column myself, it's 1 foot by 1 foot, so we're going to go ahead and say we want a 1'2" opening by 1'2", and we're going to specify that height, or where that was, and you can specify an angle. And now it's going to cut the slab out automatically for us. Right around that area where you chose to have that slab picked, or that opening area, sorry. And you can move it after the fact, and you can see that it knows that it's going to have too small of a sliver here, so it just cuts it out for you. I think that's a really neat feature. And once we have that one, we can just copy it over as well to the next column. Just like that. Okay, now, you know, as I mentioned, you can have the system put in embeds automatically at specific places at the ends of your slabs or the sides of your slabs, but you can also put them in after the fact as well. So we'll do that really quick. Go up into our fixtures tab, and these fixtures, they get created. You draw a 3D object of the embed that you want, and then you create the different views of it. You create the top view, the side views, and stuff like that. That way the 2D only shows up in the plan view and the elevation views, but the 3D still remains in your 3D view. That way it takes up a little bit less resources. We'll go ahead and place this one. You can see it's coming in not the way I want, so we'll go ahead and do the 3D and rotate it. And there you go, it's coming in the right way. And we'll just click on one of these webs. Each of these lines indicates where your webs are. So we'll go ahead and enter that, and it knows the height automatically. And I don't know if it's going to show up. Oh yeah, you can't see the studs, but you can see the plate. Okay. So that came in for us at the right height, right in the slab. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a shop drawing for this. But it looks like I messed up a little bit. You can see these cores are grouted solid the whole way. I think I chose the wrong option. So let me show you real quick, just that you can just do it along, yeah, see, I think I had it along entire length of hollow block checked, and this is along the length of just the area that we choose. So I think that's where I went wrong last time. So let's just do that really quick right here. And that should recognize that it's just that area. Yep, there you go. As you can see here in the 3D, that adjusted that area that I specified. So yeah, that was just an option that I didn't click right on that one. Okay, so let's just go ahead. We'll create an element plan now. That's what PLANBAR calls them, the shop drawings. And it's crazy simple. Just go up here and hit the element plan and choose the elements that you want to create. You can select multiple elements at one time, or you can select just one. We're going to click this one right here with the opening, and you can choose the template to choose from. And I know that I want the slab one. That's one I created just for this, for my hollowcore plank. And it's going to create this automatically. It's going to bring in the dimensions. It's going to dimension the solid sections. It's going to dimension the openings. And it's going to label the embeds as well. See here, and this is all customizable. You can, if you don't want it to label the embeds, you don't have to label the embeds. Or if you want it to label it exactly what it is, because right now my name is for that embed is a P2. You can make it a P2. Right now I just have it labeled A. That way it's less in the plan, in the view there, and it just brings it in down here. So the P1 is just one P1. And here the section comes in, and as you know, that whole core, all those cores were being filled in, so it's not showing those. But if that wasn't there, it would show the cores as well. And again, these are completely customizable. You can add them. You can make it add dimensions automatically, or you can take some of these rows out if you think it's dimensioned too much. It's all customizable, all what you want to show. And when you have your attributes tied into the project, the checker, all those names, the order number, the client, all that'll come in automatically as well. And you can see here the weight in the area came in, the element number, all that. And one more thing I want to show you is that when I'm going to click on that fixture, that embed, and I'm just going to copy that over just a little bit. I'm going to show you that. Look down at the bottom of the shop drawing. You're going to see that the quantity changes, and over in my plan view to the right, it's going to add it over there as well. So anything you do in the shop drawing gets updated to the plan view as well, and the bill of materials gets updated as well, all at once. All parametric. You don't have to worry about changing things multiple places. It all gets changed in the same place. And watch. And now I'm going to move this range. Remember this range, this load area. I'm going to bring it over into our area that we have our slab, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if that updates as well. 1212 updated. Wonderful. Oh, but I don't have my strain series here. Sorry, I don't have my strain series here, but it would update as well. I guess I should have put that in my template. All right, but you can do that. You can set it up so your template's in here, so it brings in the strain series as well. It's kind of important, but that'll update. Everything updates. It's very neat. It's a very good way of doing things. And once we're done with that, we can upload our model to BIM Plus. Guess I need to log in first. Log in. But once it does that, We can add our project, Allplan Slab Webinar. And upload it. All right, looks like that was successful. So we'll go ahead and switch over to Google Chrome, and I'll bring that down here for you. Okay. So I know we don't have much time, but I want to show you what we can do in BIM Plus really quick. So we're going to go to our models really quick, and you can see ours came in, and we'll go to BIM Explorer, and that's going to bring us to the 3D model area. This is where our model is going to come in, and we can see it now. And just as we had it in PLANBAR, we uploaded into BIM Plus, and now we have a 3D model in here. And we can do multiple different things in BIM Plus. I mean, there's so many tools that you can utilize in here. I'm just going to be able to cover a couple really quick. This right here, we're going to click on some of these elements, like this wall panel here. It gives you a preview on the right, and it just tells you a little bit of information about it, with a concrete grade and everything, a little bit of attributes inside of it. You just click on the element, and the preview will come up. The same for everything. Now I'm going to click on a slab. It'll give me the cross section of it. I mean, it's a 3D preview, so it just highlights that individual piece, and you can rotate it around. You can just check out the individual piece on its own. It goes for everything. I mean, right now I'm doing a beam, and it gives you the 3D of that as well, and all the attributes, just everything in the side of this model. It tells you all about it. Okay, so there's two things that I want to tell you about really quick, and the other thing is the task manager area. This is great. It's a very great tool for everyone to use. The example that I'm going to bring up is just between a drafter and an engineer checking the model. So a drafter creates the building, and an engineer is coming in after it just to check it, make sure everything is good. Maybe before the drafter starts the production tickets, or after, or whatnot. The engineer can come in here, and he'll look at the model, and he notices this opening here, and it should be fine going in between going in the middle of that joint, spanning both those slabs. But maybe he doesn't feel comfortable with it. Maybe he wants to add a header there instead. He can go ahead and he can highlight the area that he wants. He can add a task, and he's going to come over here to describe it, and we'll say, header instead, or whatever. You can label it whatever, and we're going to place it as a high priority. And the person responsible, he can choose who's responsible for it and set their email to be copied or whatever. So as soon as you can set the due date, when it needs to be done by, a remark, etc. And once you hit save, it's going to notify that person in the email that a task was created, and it's going to give them a link. They can click on that link. It's going to take them here, and it's going to let them know that this task has been assigned to them, and they need to take care of it. Just like that. It's awesome. And then, as soon as you're done, change the state to solved or closed, and save it, and it'll go back. It's great. It's a really nice tool, nice feature that can be utilized in many different ways. And so now I'm gonna get back to PLANBAR. A little bit about BIM Plus. It's a great tool. It's a free tool that you can utilize. You can come in here, create your user account. You can come in here, view everything that it has. There's a lot of different tools, a lot of great things about it. All right, so now we're gonna get back to PLANBAR and just finish this out. Okay, thanks. Yeah, you know, again, it showed you to create the element plan. I mean, there is so much more to show. I mean, there's other slabs that I didn't get to get into. You know, the double T's, that's a great thing as well. I mean, you know, the double T's, that's going to give you the same options that we had for the slab, for the hollowcore slabs. You can define your own shape. You know, so right here you design your own ribs. So you get the actual shape that your manufacturer, your plant creates. So you can put in that exact type and you can create the reinforcement just as the same as the hollow core. All right, and then once you have those element plans, like we do here, like I showed you, all you have to do from here is just print it. You can just hit print and you can print to PDF, just like so, and save it, send it, do what you want. All right, that's it from my side. Thank you so much. I tried to keep it short, keep you entertained. Like I said, there's so much more to go through, but you know, maybe we'll do double T's on another webinar or something. And yeah, so if you have any questions or anything, let us know. Requests, let us know. Thank you so much.